Hey everybody, it's Scott Steen with winnersandwhiners.com coming to you with the Saturday version of Today in Sports Betting. It's our very first college football show. Scott, man, it should have been a big day today. Big Ten kicking off, looking at some SEC action.
You're telling me you're not pumped about North Texas Houston Baptist? Come on, man.
I'm not going to lie, Scott. I got to play on that game. Let's start off, shall we, with the Eastern Kentucky. Is that what are they? They're not the Hilltoppers.
The Colonels.
The Colonels, that's right. The Colonels, very good. Colonels, 24-point underdog here to the Thundering Herd of Marshall. Scott, this is an Eastern Kentucky unit that's pretty damn experienced. They bring back, I think they bring back 15 starters on offense and defense. They don't throw the ball, but, man, they can rush it. They averaged over 200 yards per game last season. Got any thoughts on this one?
Well, I'm going to ask you one thing, though. For this, are you a fan of chaos?
Am I a fan of chaos? I love chaos. You know me.
I think Eastern Kentucky's live. You might think that I'm nuts here, but Marshall has no quarterback. If you really look at who Marshall has, they currently have, according to ESPN's active roster, they have 5 quarterbacks, 4 freshmen and a sophomore. The original quarterback, Isaiah Green, transferred. You're into the portal, so I didn't think he's on the roster. Eastern Kentucky can run the ball really, really well, and I don't know who Marshall can trust behind center. I really think that there's a chance that Eastern Kentucky's live. I might sound like an idiot when they lose by 30 tomorrow, or later today, I should say. I'm taking the points.
Yeah, I'm with you. I've got Eastern Kentucky plus the 24 as well.
Am I nuts for thinking that they're live?
No, not at all. I mean, maybe we both are.
I know it's 24.5 and it's an FCS school and all. Marshall doesn't have a quarterback.
No, and they've got a decent offensive line, but Eastern Kentucky can run the ball, and that means they can kill the clock, and that is our friend when you're taking big point spreads, man. Take the air out of the ball,
which I think pays off.
Yeah, I think Marshall looks like something like a 20, 30,
I actually like
31,
Marshall
20, somewhere around there.
I like Marshall in the past couple of years. I think they have a nice coaching staff, but there's some things you can't overcome, and the lack of experience, especially in a very unique offseason with everything that's happened, I got to assume Marshall's offense is going to look extremely rusty.
Yeah, I think so. I think so too. And a new quarterback without time, I think continuity is going to be the key. You're looking for teams with veterans in place, the system in place, coaches in place, and that's not Marshall. That does not describe Marshall. I like Eastern Kentucky here. They have more experience. They know what they're doing. They have a scheme that they're familiar with, and they've had success with it.
But defensively, they have not exactly been sharp in the past.
No, they have not. They're going to give up some points, but I think this one comes somewhere around 31-17, 31-20, something like that.
I'm kind of hoping that Marshall's quarterback throws a couple interceptions here or there, or maybe they do some type of quarterback rotation to try to find the guy, which means that you might have some serious growing pains going on. And Eastern Kentucky, if they can bleed the clock, control the time possession, and just move the chains, I think they're live. So just my personal opinion, 24.5 seems too much. I thought the spread would be somewhere around 17.5, if I'm being honest with you.
Yeah, I agree. I think that's a little strong. How about Houston Baptist and University of North Texas? Got the Mean Green.
Oh, boy. I get to
Houston
talk
Baptist, the 24.5-point dog here. You got any thoughts on this before I get rolling?
I'm going to let you get rolling first. I can tell that I know that you definitely have a thought on this one. So
I do have a thought on this one. Houston Baptist features one of the best players I guarantee you've never heard of, a guy named Bailey Zappi, who is an absolute gunslinger at the FCS level, threw for 3,800 yards last season, 35 touchdowns, ranked second in the nation, 317.6 yards per game. And you're going to go up against a Northern Texas secondary that's replacing multiple starters from a year ago. North Texas has a lot of the same problems that we just talked about with Marshall. They've got a quarterback competition. The coaches indicated both quarterbacks are going to play. Scott, what's the old saying in football? When you have 2 quarterbacks, how many quarterbacks do you have?
0.
You have 0 quarterbacks. That's right. Austin On and Jason Bean. They both bring a little bit to the table for North Texas. Bean
definitely a huge step back for Mason Fine.
Absolutely. Trying to replace Mason Fine, no easy task. A couple of sophomores. Bean is a track guy. He's a true double threat. Of course, Austin On is the guy with the arm. But the problem for the Mean Green, they got no defense, brother. They got no defense at all. And I think they're going to have their I think they are going to have their hands full with the Houston Baptist Huskies here. I got another live dog, Scott, at plus 24.5. Give me dim Huskies. This is a team that averaged 34.8 points per game last season, and they're liable to see some defenses just as bad as the ones they faced there in FCS.
Well, that takes me into what my thoughts are on the game. I love the over.
Okay.
At 68.5. I'm not going to go with the side there because Houston Baptist's defense is so bad that I don't really want to get involved.
Not good.
But the thing about Houston Baptist, offensively in the FCS, they had one of the best offenses in the league. But the reason why they went 5-7 is because their defense was absolutely terrible. And I am not making this up. They gave up at least 36 points. I know I had to do the counting here, but at least over half of their games. They can't stop anybody. I know North Texas doesn't really have a quarterback, but when you have a quarterback with a dual threat ability and Houston Baptist can't stop the run or the pass, I got a feeling you're going to get a lot of short touchdown drives and a lot of big plays. So for me, I think North Texas can score 40. I think Houston Baptist can score 30. I think this game should get into the 70s. I'm going to go with the over.
Well, they averaged 35.8. They gave up 36.8. That comes out to
they were giving up 36.8, and that's against FCS opponents. So keep that in mind.
Against FCS opponents, that's correct. That's 72.6 points per game. Again,
they gave up 36 points to UTEP last year. UTEP.
Yeah. Very good. Hey, Scott. Speaking of UTEP, they're going up against.
I set you up with a segue there, so you're welcome.
It's Stephen F. Austin. It's like he came to rehearsal and everything.
We're going completely out of order in terms of the time slots, but at the end of the day, I don't think it really matters.
We're going with add-on games, and then we're going with we're looking at. I'm going down the betting sheet of my rotation number here. So, yeah, God, this is a terrible UTEP team. Terrible UTEP team. They one claim to fame. Last game they won, Scott, against Houston Baptist. They've lost 11 straight since then. They're just 20-34 over the last 3 seasons. Dana Dimmel, my goodness, he used to actually be somebody. How about that?
That's the problem, though. SF Austin went 3-9 in FCS last year.
Yeah, that's not good. And he's got a young squad. He's got just 7 returning starters.
Yeah, 3-8 actually. They played Baylor week 1, but you know what I mean. They were terrible.
Right. They've got a new quarterback, Gavin Hardison. That doesn't exactly bode well for UTEP. They were one of the worst passing teams in college football over the last 3 seasons. I don't know. Stephen F. Austin has a decent secondary. They got an all-conference cornerback back there. They've got Trent Gordon, and then they've got an Oklahoma State transfer kid named Chris McCune playing safety. I think Dimmel's going to try to run the ball there.
I think I'm leaning under, but in reality, if you're playing this game, you should probably go to a meeting.
It's time to see a meeting, my friends. I will.
I guess I'm leaning Austin just for the touchdown and a half. Because I think both these teams are awful. UTEP should win because they have the D1 athletes, technically, if that's what you want to call it. But I have no idea. I'm going to lean under, but I'm going to gladly announce publicly I will not be playing this game.
They brought in some JC transfers. This is a UTEP defense, gave up 35.9 last season.
They're bad at everything.
And they lost 9 of their top 15 tacklers.
Yeah, they're bad at everything.
On the other hand, the Lumberjacks gave up 453 yards and 35 points a game against FCS competition. All right, so.
You have any thoughts, or you're also on the pass band?
Time to see somebody. Time to go to a meeting, man. There's other shit on. I'll take UTEP minus 7.5. Very, very small lean just because it's kind of
I'm leaning Austin because I'm just rooting for chaos. But realistically, both these teams, I don't want to touch the 10-foot pole.
Very good. Middle Tennessee State against Army training. Army minus 3.5. 55 is the number there. I'll let you kick it off.
I'm going Army. I know the money's coming on Middle Tennessee, but in such a very unique offseason, I know that Army's lost a lot of pieces from last year's team, but the system stays the same. And they just rotate people in and out, and you know that it's one thing to practice the triple option on defense. It's another thing to stop the triple option when you actually face it in person. I know Middle Tennessee lost a ton of contributors on last year's defense. They lost a ton of their leading tacklers. And even though Army is definitely going to look a bit weaker than it has, I know they didn't make a bowl game last year for the first time in a while, but I still think Army should win this game by around a touchdown. I just think they're going to dominate time possession. They're going to move the chains. They're going to do what they normally do. And I do like Middle Tennessee's quarterback a lot. It's O'Hara, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I wasn't sure if there was an O or if it was just Hara, but yeah, O'Hara, he's good, and I acknowledge that. But I think Army's just going to dominate time possession like they normally do, and I think they'll probably win by a touchdown. So I'll go to Army.
I really like the under in this game. I think Army's going to have a lot of 10-minute drives, and
That's
just
what I was saying. Yeah, it's the same idea.
will to live out of a team. This is a Middle Tennessee State team that ranked 113th against the run last year, Scott, and
they lost basically half of their team shooters on defense.
Yeah, they don't rush the passer well. That doesn't matter against Army, but they don't stop the run, and that's going to be important. I think the clock is just going to tick relentlessly. We backed Army last year as a premium play against Rice, and Rice ended up having a very good showing. The difference was, Scott, Rice knew that this game was on their schedule for a year. They were able to prepare for the triple option all offseason, all spring. This game was booked in mid-August.
Yeah.
So this is a bad defense that's had less than a month to prepare to face one of the best triple option teams in the country. I think that Army will pretty much take care of business here, and I do like the under quite a bit.
Yeah, I can't really argue with that. It's just a matter of I'm a lean to Army. I have a weakness when it comes to backing military schools because they just run the same system over and over again. It usually doesn't even matter who they have half the time. The most important part of the team is the offensive line.
Yeah, they dare you to stop them. Much like the Army in real life, Scott. They're very good on offense, and they play adequate defense.
Well, I'm sure you're going to get some interesting comments in the comment section below for that, but we'll see about that.
I don't. If you find an Army in the world plays better offense than the United States. That's all.
That part, yeah, that's a fair point.
SMU, Texas State.
But so are you also leaning Army from a side perspective?
I have a premium play on that, Scott.
Oh, so. Okay. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to put you on the spot.
You knew there had to be one in there somewhere, right?
Yeah, fair enough.
SMU minus 23.5, Texas State under 69.5. SMU, what an offense, man! Shane Buechele, he's the shiznit, as the kids say. They've very, very solid offense. Just they won this game last year 47-17. He was Texas Longhorn, threw for 39-29 last year, 34 TDs, 10 picks, and they lost James Proche to the NFL, but they've reloaded the wide receiver position. Texas State, Scott, they've got some defensive problems. They gave up 335.3.
That's a pretty polite way of saying
it. And then their offense ain't going to take any pressure off of them. They like to throw the ball around. They're not that good at it. They don't have a running game. It's just kind of what they have to do. I'll tell you, I do have a surprise pick here, Scott. I don't think that Texas State's going to be able to help out on this total. I like the under 69.5. I think that's the play in this game.
I'll hate to tell you this, but I was also leaning to the under 69. So we're on the same page there. Mostly the fact that I think SMU is going to score 40.
Yeah.
But Texas State, you're asking if I think they're going to score 29 points, 30 points. I don't. I think Texas State will probably score. They scored 17 last year. I'll be generous. I'll give them 20.
I think 45. I think 45-17,
45-20, something like that also sounds right. So, yeah, I'm going to lean. Of course, I expect Buechele to put on a show. I feel he's been in college for 30 years. But I still remember him at Texas. But
Texas for 3 years. Now he's going to be with SMU for 2 years. I think he'll
be unemployed, or he'll go into some other career after. But yeah, he beats up on bad opponents all the time. SMU, of course, is going to do the no huddle. We're going to score as many points as we can early against bad teams, and then eventually fall apart against good teams later in the year. Seems to be the tradition.
But they lost 3 games last year, so you can't call it a total loss. But.
Down the stretch, but yes, they also lost the bowl game. But yes, overall, I'm going with SMU. I think that they're just going to put the pedal to the metal, and I think that they're just going to take their foot off the gas late in the fourth, and by then it'll be too late.
Well, let's talk a little bit about this Memphis team, Scott. This is a team that's looking at
a lot of turnover.
Arkansas State and Memphis minus 18.5. 74 is the number there, Scott. That's the highest total on the board by quite a bit. Your thoughts on this one?
I actually wrote an article about this one for Winners and Whiners. Both teams defensively are disasters, and I acknowledge that. And I know that based on how the money's coming on the over, it's probably going to go over. But I'm stubborn, and I'm going to lean to the under. I'm not thrilled about it, but in reality, Memphis has lost so many coaches from this past offseason. It's actually insane. They lost their head coach, their offensive coordinator, their defensive coordinator, and their special teams coordinator. So, yeah. Plus, you also lost your best offensive weapon in Gainwell, who opted out. So,
Gainwell decided to sit out and prepare for the NFL draft.
I do acknowledge Brady White being back is huge for the offense, and I do think that he's a solid quarterback. But I like Lane Hatcher as well for Arkansas State, but it's one thing to put up good numbers against the Sun Belts, another thing to put up good numbers against another conference.
Yeah, Red Wolves' defense is terrible. They're
not good. Memphis should put up 45 to 50, but I feel like
this may not be enough to cover.
That's what I'm saying. I don't know. I think this total is a bit too high based on all the uncertainty going on in the offseason. I actually have to see if Memphis' coach knows how to coach before I can suddenly just put all my money in that basket. So I'll lean under. I'm not going to play it. And I personally would lean, I guess, Memphis, but actually, no, I'm leaning Arkansas State.
Red Wolves.
Yeah, I'm leaning Arkansas State. I forgot in my article I leaned Arkansas State. I'm going to stick to it. I'm going to go with Arkansas State.
Red Wolves.
Yeah.
Red Wolves.
Are they any good? No, but they're okay. They have enough offense, yeah, and it's a matter of if you think Memphis will come out a little bit slow out of the gate now that they have a lot of new faces with coaches, and I think they will.
Backdoor cover. Memphis is up 21 late in the game. The Red Wolves are able to score that late touchdown.
Fourth and goal at the 10, right?
I see it. Beat that number for us. All right, there you go. That is our initial college football show of the year. And you excited, Scott? I mean, it's sometimes you go to war with not the schedule you want, but with the schedule you got. So we're gonna do what we got.
I'm looking forward to midday football, so I can't really say no to that.
It'll be fun. Saturday football. Welcome back, baby. So thanks very much for watching. By the way, I got my lucky camouflage shirt on, so they can't see me coming. Normally, I've got a nice collared shirt on, little dress here. I dressed down for this one. I'm trying to sneak up on college football this season, so I'll see how that goes.
Oh, I hope that works out for you.
All right, good enough. For myself, for Scott Reichel, for all of us over here at Winners and Whiners, by the way, get over there and check out Winners and Whiners. You want to learn more about North Texas, and hey, who doesn't? Get over there and check out winnersandwhiners.com and read our deep dives into every game going on every single day. For myself, for Scott Reichel, thanks very much for joining us today on Today in Sports Betting, college football style. Good luck on all of your plays today, and hey, thanks for watching. We'll see you next time. Take care.